Welcome to the Insider's Insight podcast, where we share with you the thoughts of the individuals who are working for projects that are changing the world. Thank you to our sponsor, Creditcoin, the building blocks of trust. For more details, please visit the show notes below.
Hello everyone, this is Insider's Insight, and today we have Alexander, who is the CTO and founder of CrazyMeta. And today we're going to talk about latest trends in blockchain and DeFi in general, and we'll also touch NFTs a little bit. So hello Alex, how are you doing today?
Hi, thanks for having me today. I am doing great. It is a wonderful, beautiful sunny day here in Thailand, and I'm really enjoying it. Let's get down to it.
That's awesome. Could you introduce yourself for some of these poor people who don't know you yet?
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. My name is Alex, and I guess I'm here in the context of CrazyMeta, and that is a fashion startup in the blockchain space where we're trying to invert fashion a la blockchain, a la decentralized kind of style. And we're creating NFTs with our sneaker at first, and then moving on to other fashion apparel, kind of hoping that creators will glom on and use our pipeline to create both NFTs and the actual physical product as well. So very excited about this. But are we going to be talking about this mostly today?
Yeah, but mostly I would like to ask you, for how long have you been in blockchain space?
Yeah, I've kind of seen it all. I've been in the blockchain space since the pretty much the beginning, 2010 or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, big fan of Bitcoin, always have been. And, crypto as well. I think it's quite exciting space.
What do you think about people who say that it's the end of Bitcoin? When they say like, oh, Bitcoin price plummeted under 20K. And you can see that like 2 years ago, it was way less. And everybody said that it was the end of crypto. And everybody's saying that it's every bear year is the end of crypto. So
right.
As a person who had been in the space for quite a while, what do you think about that?
I've heard it so many times. The death of Bitcoin, hundreds of times, really. Anytime the asset goes down more than 20%, everyone's like, oh, it's over. That's it. The music is stopped. Buy gold, run, and it's just really, I don't know. I completely ignore it now. Like whenever somebody says something like this, I'm like, okay, you don't understand Bitcoin. So I have high hopes that, everything is just fine. I don't see this going away at all, ever. So, even if it goes down another 50%, fine. It'll shake out some institutions. It'll shake down some people that, thought that Bitcoin should be worth 20K when it's now 10. And, I'm going to hold until it's $1 million per coin. Easy. I think it's going up, and it will go up eventually. And, it's just, if you've been in the space for some time, you just know that the price action is always temporary, and Bitcoin's not going to die.
How about the cycle? You mentioned that in 2 years we'll have the halving or halvening.
Yes.
Okay, of Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's just part of like how it works, right? When we have 21 million Bitcoin theoretically available, and those are getting mined, and the mining rewards are basically becoming less and less every 4 years, I believe. And I haven't been in the mining space for a long time, so I think it's 4 years. Don't quote me on that, but essentially, like the liquid Bitcoin that is being given to miners as a reward is going to halve, and that means that there's going to be less Bitcoin and in circulation, right? And which would probably make the price go up. So that's kind of what I believe.
That Bitcoin is definitely a driver for the whole market. If Bitcoin price goes down, all the altcoins and all the meme and shitcoins, they also go down. If the Bitcoin goes up, they all go up. But do you think that any other crypto will possibly replace Bitcoin? Some people are saying that ETH will replace Bitcoin because Ethereum is moving from proof of work to proof of stake. Maybe the gas fees will go down. we are not sure about that yet, but still. And because Ethereum network, they can implement smart contracts and Bitcoin can't really do that. So how do you see like the adoption of these, let's say, two major cryptocurrencies in the future?
So I don't think anyone is toppling Bitcoin anytime soon. And also, like when people talk about these things in terms of like one versus the other, it's very strange to me. I think it's like comparing fruit. It's like you have a banana and you have an apple. It's like, are apples going to take over bananas? Like it doesn't make any sense to me at all. I think Bitcoin is very solid in what it's trying to do. Ethereum maybe slightly less so in my personal opinion, but yeah, I mean, like you said, they have smart contracts and it's very cool ecosystem to develop on. So yeah, I think there's place for both of them, and I don't really see them as like competitors at all. And this whole, like, we've been talking about the flippening. I remember 2018 we were talking about the flippening, or even earlier perhaps. And yeah, I don't know. Like it's even if it does happen, which I don't think it will. Awesome. Like it's we need multiple cryptos. I don't think having one crypto or one token or one just Bitcoin even is the best plan, the best way forward. And yeah, I really like the idea of living in a multi-coin world. So I think, I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin, and I will continue to support it. But and I don't really know what's going to happen with the proof of stake switch of Ethereum that's coming up soon. But yeah, it's good that we have both of these things. A strong proof of work chain, a strong proof of stake chain. That's great. Let's do that.
I think another thing that bothers some people in the crypto space is that we all say how decentralized this system is, but at the end of the day, there are some wallets that hold like so much Bitcoin that if they will decide to drop it, the whole market basically will plummet. And at the same time, if Bitcoin will go up, like normal people, they probably will have, I don't know how many like return on investments, but these institutional investors, all like, we don't even know like who those people are. They're going to be super rich, and it's like, again, the rich people are getting richer and like poor people getting poorer. And the whole volatility thing that normal investors, if they don't hold, they normally lose a lot of money on the volatility of the market.
Yeah, so I think this is a common gripe that people have with Bitcoin, and like there's something that so if you think about like what is blockchain, what is Bitcoin, what are they trying to do, why is it interesting? Really, like, and sorry for backing up all the way here, but it's a way to represent scarcity on like a digital kind of space, right? So you have, it's something that's not copy and pasteable, which is kind of new in the digital space. That was kind of the innovation of Bitcoin. And so you have a way to represent scarcity. And by doing that, you have a way to represent wealth. And so when we talk about the decentralized aspects of Bitcoin, we're not talking about like decentralized wealth, right? So we're not talking about how it's like, everyone has the same amount of money or something like this in Bitcoin. We're talking about the network being decentralized. And so, wealth is still, distributed like power law distribution, right? It's like some people just have a lot more money than other people, and that like it looks like a hockey stick, right? Like that kind of graph, if you wanted to graph it out. And that's not changing, right? And Bitcoin doesn't purport to change that. It really is the system of sending transactions, sending money back and forth. That is what's decentralized. So the network is decentralized, not the amount of coins. And so, I do think it's a good point about the wallets and like how many holders you have, like if that's decentralized or not. And, some of these wallets are super huge, right? And that's, not great for decentralization, but it's also not a requirement that, we have. I would like to see more people holding, more Bitcoin for sure. Like that helps with the decentralization, but I don't think that it's a hard requirement. So it's still great that, transactions cannot be censored even by somebody that has lots and lots and lots of Bitcoin in a single wallet.
Yeah, I see. I think the thing about scarcity that you mentioned is really interesting because right now we see the birth of lots of different metaverses or games that are claiming to be a metaverse. And it's weird because the digital world is even more abundant than the physical world. It's endless. You can have as much of digital space as you wish, and yet they create scarcity quite artificial. And it very much resembles the physical world, how we used to see it, that if you buy a piece of land, it costs that much because there is like not enough land, allegedly, even though like it might not be the case. And it's just we are pumping up prices artificially because we need to have this growth of economy and all this bullshit. But in digital space, it's like even makes less sense to make that. But that's what NFTs are for. And they're basically driven by this human nature of possession. Like we like to possess things, we like to own things, we like to claim that these are unique things and that they're only ours.
Yeah, I think it's very much a human like psychological thing. I think also even more so than just like owning them, possessing them ourselves. It's even more negative, right? It's like I own them and you don't, right? Like it's like an anti, like it's only interesting because when I have an NFT that nobody else has it, right? Because if I just have mine and everybody else has their own and they're all kind of the same, then it doesn't matter, right? I want to have something that's different and special and unique and distinguishable from everyone else's, and hopefully better, right? That's kind of like the more rare, more worth more, you know. And I think that's human nature, and I think that's why we invented these things, right? Because we want to depict such things, and I think there are very valid use cases for this, right? But I also find it very sad that, like, you know, we're kind of treating the digital space this way, right? So, like, I don't think everything needs to be an NFT. And I think making everything an NFT is probably a mistake. But, you know, there are things that are valuable because there's only, you know, a certain amount of them. And, you know, that kind of essence of, like, that, whatever that is, like, we also have that now in digital spaces. I don't think everything should be metered that way. I don't think everything should be NFT'd or I don't think there's a use case for that, honestly. But for certain things, it's very useful, right? And so, for example, like a lot of these blue chip PFP NFTs, like they're, let's say BAYC, right? So like these Bored Apes. Why are they interesting, right? Like, yeah, there's art and everything, but really, like, and everyone says this always, right? It's very common to hear. It's about this community. It's like being a member of a club that not everyone can be a member of, right? And so there's a certain amount of these NFTs, and if you have one of them or multiple, then you are in that group, right? In that kind of in crowd, and really that's why these things are so expensive, right? Because at least for me, like the art shouldn't be worth that much, right? I think it's especially if it's computer generated. Like, you know, I can generate a zillion of these. You know, why are mine worth less? Well, the reason is because of this, right? Because of this adherence, like this membership to some group.
I want to call out here. So I know that you have probably more than like 100 different cryptocurrencies, probably even more. Like you don't even know where and how much do you own, and how many NFTs do you have?
So I'm not really a big fan of NFTs. I don't have that many. I think I have under 10 NFTs currently in my wallets, and I don't have any of the like really expensive blue chip ones. I kind of missed that boat, I guess. I remember when apes were being peddled in some of the groups, like someone was like, hey, do you want one of these things? It's like, I'll transfer you like 10 of them, like they were brand new or whatever, and like as a joke. And I didn't even like give them my wallet because I thought it was like kind of like whatever. And this happened for both CryptoPunks and for apes, and I slept on both of those things. And it would have been cool, you know, to pick some of those up, but I didn't, and that's okay. You know, like I think yeah. I mean, you know, hindsight 2020, right? It would be great to get some free money, but I think that it's cool the way that they evolved, and I think that you know, there will be more and more of this kind of thing. But yeah, it wasn't very obvious to me. I bought like NFT domain names like in 2016 or something like this because I do think that there's very cool and valid use cases for NFTs, and I see the space as being really just at the very, very beginning. But with the PFP ones, like I just didn't know that would be a thing.
Nice. What kind of domains do you have?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't want to like necessarily reveal that. I have who is privacy on those, but like, like the idea.
So you're not looking for a buyer.
No. Like if you have like an NFT, right? Like why is it cool? So it's like I have a token that uniquely is this one thing, right? And so using that as like an access key or some kind of unique identifier, I think there's stuff like that will be explored more and further, and that's kind of where I was thinking along with these things. I wasn't thinking about art. I don't collect art in the real world. I don't collect it in the digital world. So I'm not an art person. I was always much more like musical. But even music NFT is also very strange to me. I don't think that is very interesting. Like when I listen to a song, it doesn't sound better to me if I own it. Like I never thought that was like very cool. But I do understand like royalty payments, for example. I do understand that like if this song is played on the radio, then that person makes this much money or something. But also, with music, everything's like free anyway. Everybody watches or listens to Spotify or other streaming services, and so like do people actually pay for the consumption of music these days? Maybe in like a subscription basis, something like that. But like I said, I think there are use cases for NFTs, but like what we're currently doing with them is not making me super excited. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see. For me, music NFTs are the same. Like, I don't see people, especially in the future, paying to artists, like individually at least. Maybe it will work as a subscription thing, because I'm sure right now, if you post your songs like on any platform, you will get a fraction of what the platform is getting by playing your music. And if some system, like blockchain-based system, can figure out how to, let's say, transfer like 98% of what ad revenues are to the artist, and they just like take automatically 2%, so the algorithm can keep like running, and like those people who like manage it can like have their piece of like
earn a living,
rent on the table. That would be great.
Yeah, I think and that really depends on like the users, and like I don't see people switching to like an NFT based version of Spotify, right? Just I don't think that most people are interested in this, right? Like it's the same, with social networks, same thing. It's like people are still using Facebook, Instagram. It's because their friends are there, and it's the same with the music. It's like I want to listen to Spotify because they have all of the different music like that I could possibly want. And, and then if I have to switch to some service or God forbid, like 4 or 5 services to listen to like the 10 things that I want to listen to, like that's not going to work. Right. And so I don't think anybody's really interested in, from a consumer level, like doing something like that. Obviously, like theoretically from like the perspective you just said, like it would be very cool if all of these things are more or less decentralized. The artist gets, a bulk of the ad revenue. But honestly, I think that's already the case on Spotify too. So like I don't really see that as like something urgent that people will rally behind and change the world. Like it's not. I don't know. And the same thing for art, right? Like nobody that I know in my group, pays for the privilege of like looking at art, right? So like sometimes you go to a museum. You're at the MoMA or something in New York, and like that's cool, sure. But like how often do you actually do that? Like the last time I did that was like 2 years ago or something, right? And so
I would do it more often if I had art museums in the place where I live.
True. Although
deprived from that.
You were in China, right? China has art museums like that.
And I was going there.
All right. How often did you go there?
Quite often.
Really?
More than you. Definitely more than you.
3 times a month? Or like, what are we talking, right?
No, okay, maybe not 3 times a month. Maybe like twice a year.
There you go, right? And so like in terms of like royalty payments.
And the museum was it was free. Like I didn't pay for the entrance.
There you go.
So.
Right. So that's kind of like the state of like NFTs. So I think NFTs are interesting, like from the perspective of like the uniqueness, the tradability, and stuff like this. And I do think that people are doing that. That's why apes are so expensive and so on. And it's also with the fashion that we're trying to do. That's we're definitely riffing on that, playing with that kind of idea. But I would like to see more
just different use cases for NFTs. And so,
how do you see an average CrazyMeta user? Like, what do they like? What do they do?
Yeah,
like,
so
who are they? How old are they?
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting question. And this is something that I can't answer at this point because, we just don't have the data. But, I'm hoping that, especially younger people are, and I'm talking even under 18, just like really, really young people kind of, that grew up in these spaces or are growing up currently in these metaverses and video games, that they want that, right? Because it's not like we're offering something new, right? Like in essence, owning something that other people don't own, like we discussed earlier, like that's really what it is, right? And so we're just doing that for the digital space in terms of wearables for video games and metaverses. But that idea is not in itself like new, like wanting to own something that other people do not. So we're kind of hoping that young people kind of also have this that all other humans seem to have had, and then they just want to be unique and special, and we're offering a way to do that. Now, there's two things here with CrazyMeta, right? One is that very classic, like we're offering this NFT that we think is very cool or whatever. But even more interesting is the NFTs that are the NFTs that people can create themselves. So if you are somebody that has like a sense of aesthetic and some kind of idea for fashion that is new and can be expressed in the digital space, creating those things digitally and physically, like in the real world, like that's really where we want to be. So I see CrazyMeta not really as a brand that creates NFTs, although we also are that. I see CrazyMeta more as a platform for people to create things they want to wear and have those be as unique or not as you want to be. Like if somebody wants to create 1 billion of these NFTs and just give one to everyone in the world, that's fine too. I don't think things necessarily have to be rare in order to be good. I'm very excited about the whole idea of getting people to, create their own things and, not just like consuming the things that like were created for this kind of purpose. Like, just buy this because it already exists, right? Creating is really the interesting part, in my opinion.
Yeah, creation is definitely an interesting part, and you also have to be bold. Like to create something, you have to be imaginative. And I'm also very excited for CrazyMeta. I think CrazyMeta is going to revolutionize the way we see digital fashion and the physical world fashion, basically. Thank you so much for your time today. I enjoyed talking to you as every day. And I hope we can do it maybe another time with the video. I think it would be a great idea.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me. And thank you for letting me kind of speak my truth. I think people have different opinions on these things, and this is just one of many opinions. I do think that I've seen a lot of different things in the space, but I don't purport to be like the only opinion that matters, right? So I think it's important that, especially with these things when they're worth so much money, that everybody kind of, thinks about these things and like kind of makes up their own opinion. And that's what, keeps the space alive. So, thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for such a humble ending. Goodbye.
The Insider's Insight podcast is meant for informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial or investment advice. Nothing expressed in this podcast should be construed as a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer to buy or sell any financial products. Information expressed by the host or guest of this podcast does not necessarily reflect any views of our sponsors.